And the way to start a broadcast is with me laughing.
We're live. I'm so tired. I'm sick of the sound of my own voice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, technical problems. That's me. That's me.
The sound of my own voice.
There we go.
See, I am sick of the sound of my own voice. I'm hearing it on a delay echo. Thanks. That's even better.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. Yes. Hello there. Welcome along, everyone. This is an Englishman in San Diego. It's our regular show, and yes, a slight switcheroo. Usually it's Alyssa that's out and about, but not today. My name is Leonard, and I'm here at EM-Con in Nottingham, which, as you can see, is currently in process of breakdown. You are seeing that part of the making of the sausage, not the actual creation of said sausage, but now sausage has been digested and is being passed out the other end. What? Too much? Okay. So that's where we are at the moment. I know I am a sicko. That's the way it works. But hopefully we're going to be joined by Catrina Dennis as well, who's going to be talking about FamCon. Hang on. Definitely going to need an in-app invite. There you go. She's going to have to get that sorted out. And she's going to type away is Alyssa on the background for that. But we are going to get into EM-Con, which has been held over the course of Nottingham. Going to very quickly talk about Portsmouth ComicCon as well, which is what Tripwire and Joel Meadows has been organising down that there south. We're going to be talking about Star Wars Celebration, by all accounts. I've been told we're going to be talking Star Wars Celebration, which is good. We're also going to be talking, like I say, FamCon, once we get Catrina Dennis online. Don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay in this location or how long the Wi-Fi will hold up. But we'll do our best. We'll see how we go. I mean, I have no idea how my picture is. I know that Alyssa will probably get the Q&A up and running shortly, so she can you can tell us. You can tell us if I'm being all me up it up
What?
it.
What?
Yeah, so yeah, yes, I could be doing that. Who knows?
You are not. You are actually seems like you're coming through loud and clear,
Excellent.
with a good picture even.
Fantastic.
So
well, I mean,
has improved from last year.
Right, behind you, excuse me, behind you, there's a lot of wood. Please knock on wood, please. Touch wood. And don't jinx, thank you, don't jinx stuff. Good God. That'd be awful. But yes, that's what we're going to get into. I know that Catrina, we're working on that. Right, okay. I mean, what time are we at?
We are at spot on 1 o'clock.
Okay, in that case, we can pretty much launch into this, he says, as he looks over his bottle of water or can of pop, because my voice is completely and utterly shot. It's been a long couple of days, but well worth the trip to Nottingham. This has been EM-Con. Oh, thank you very much indeed. Tell you what, do you want to jump in on this as well? We have a special guest. Let me see if I can just angle this.
That's fine.
No, because you're short.
Hi.
There you go. It's yeah.
That's the wrong one you've given me.
Have I?
Yeah.
Okay, you're that. So you get the mic. Okay. So there we go.
Hi. How's it going?
Hello. Right. So yes, EM-Con here in Nottingham. This would be the second year that I've taken part in this. I was the panel host last year. It was actually my first live panel hosting gig. So this was the show that kind of broke my cherry. And I had a lot of fun doing that. This year, a little bit more challenging, certainly when it came to the a couple of the guests, but it was well worth it because it all kind of came together. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun, he says, slurping from a can.
It's not alcohol, you're okay.
No, we're working on that a bit later.
The alcohol will come in a few hours.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we cuddle? There we go. Right, so we got here for about 9 o'clock on Saturday morning and launched pretty much straight down into the show because about 20 minutes after that, or 20 minutes after we arrived, the doors opened and it was pretty much packed from the word go.
It was rammed, especially the autograph and selfie section, basically. That was insane. You could barely move.
And the whole floor had a lot of energy to it.
Yeah.
This has been. I was curious to see how it was actually going to do that. considering that here at EM-Con in Nottingham and here in the UK at the moment, it is a bank holiday weekend. So obviously there's going to be the distractions of catching up with family and friends and having barbecues, going on little
mini
trips,
breaks,
and basically getting out of the house and spending a bit of an extended weekend. Then, unlike every other bank holiday, it was really, really sunny.
We're in the middle of having a little mini heat wave.
Yes.
So, lights have just gone off by here.
Thank goodness that wasn't us. Anyway. But yes, it was definitely a case of there was a lot of reasons why people could stay home or stay outside or stay in a beer garden somewhere.
Yeah, family barbecues and things like that.
And it says a lot about EM-Con that it drew a crowd. There were some slight issues with both Saturday and Sunday because one of the headlining guests was Billie Piper, formerly of Doctor Who. And she wasn't able to make it on Saturday because she was shooting in the States and wasn't able to make it. And it says a lot that she then flew directly from her shooting schedule, arrived in the UK on Sunday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, and pretty much
came straight here.
Well, I think she went to the hotel first and had a shower.
Well, yeah,
maybe.
Obviously.
Yeah. But basically just kind of, it says a lot that she made the effort to come. Right, so let's have a quick rundown of the panel guests that I had. We started with the Doctor Who panel, which was Pearl Mackie, who starred as Bill Potts with the recent Peter Capaldi season. We also had David Bradley, who starred as William Hartnell and the First Doctor in Adventures in Time and Space, and also in the recent Christmas special. Or last year's Christmas special, sorry. And we also had Tony Curran, who's known from Blade 2. He's known from...
He played Van Gogh.
Yeah, he did.
In Doctor Who.
He did. It was a really good run of guests. And then, of course, we had Billie Piper today. Basically, it was 4 sets of panels which were repeated both Saturday and Sunday. So Doctor Who was the first one. Second panel was Nicholas Brendon and Emma Caulfield from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously, and Xander and Anya, sorry. You could tell that Caroline...
You can tell the fan.
Caroline was the big fan of Buffy over the years. And then it was Jason David Frank, formerly the Green Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And to finish things off, Sam J. Jones, Flash Gordon himself, in a very interesting little intimate panel. It's just been interesting. It's there's been some highs, there's been some lows. Certainly, I think the emotional roller coaster has got to be the Buffy the Vampire Slayer panel. The pair of them, both panels had interesting highs and lows.
Yes.
Which kind of got people's attention. But my job was there basically to kind of like stem the tide and do what we can. But no, it was good. Alyssa, you're looking confused and kerfuffled. I think you're still struggling with Catrina, aren't you?
Yes, Catrina is trying to get on, but she is trying to get on to a phone call, not the hangout.
Oh boy.
I'm not sure what the
issue is.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's not sending her directly to join us. Was this what the problem you were having with her last week?
It was the problem we were having last week, that we just weren't being able to connect. Let Caroline have a bit of a breather.
Oh,
anyway,
sure. Do you want to? Okay, go ahead.
Do you want me to carry on?
Yes.
I can carry on. I mean, the great thing about EM-Con is, I think we discussed this when we did our live report from EM-Con in Worcester, that it was definitely a case of it's a small, intimate run convention. The crew feels like family. Everyone involved feels connected to the event. It's one of the events that's taking place at the moment, which is definitely, raising the game when it comes to conventions here in the UK. There are a number of larger event management teams here. You've got showmasters You've got Walker Stalker that have come over to do a number of events. You've got yourself, the Ultimates people, Sean Harry's company. You've got, of course, MCM as well on that. But EMMCON still remains a very tight, close, intimate convention. It's starting to branch off and do these little side conventions, Burton and Worcester, but it's remaining very true to its core that the attendee always comes first, and they will do what they can to make the attendee have a great time. The panel rooms, I think, is new to them. And like I say, it was the first time last year. This year, like I say, it was a little bit more of a challenge. So it was still, for myself, the challenge made it interesting. If it was going to be easy, then everyone would be doing it. So it was good to kind of have that happen and keep things going. Nicholas Brendon, as you can imagine, the guy has a little bit of a history in terms of his own personal demons. He did kind of touch on it. He did express that is something that he's still working through. He wasn't the absolute egomaniac and tyrannical monster that I think a number of media sites have painted him out to be. For myself, and the way I got my take on it, he's just unfiltered. He's gone through so much, and in his career, in the way that his career has developed, in the way that some people have treated him, some people have not treated him. Right now, he wants to come at it completely unfiltered. And you know what? Fair respect to him on that. Like I say, he does have a number of his own personal demons. We didn't really get into the legal stuff, and that was no real need to it, and we didn't want to get into that. But it was definitely a man that wasn't hiding behind anything, and I had no problem with that. Emma Caulfield was a little bit different in that she had spent her time as Anya, but she wanted to move on, and it was something that she had experienced and did a number of years ago. It wasn't something that she went out of her way to remember. We had to kind of coax a number of memories and recollections out of her. But still, today was a good one. If I go back to the Doctor Who panel, I think that was a lot of fun for myself. Especially speaking to David Bradley, who is just such an utter gentleman, an utter professional. And he also enjoyed the fact that thankfully he wasn't just being asked the same standard questions. So he kind of had a great deal of fun taking part in the panel. Tony Curran, he was somebody who doesn't suffer fools, but he had a lot of fun on the panel as well. Same drill. I think there were the thing about these particular sessions, and especially this year, they were very much geared towards Q&A. They were audience questions. And when you get asked the same question along the lines of which character from Doctor Who would you star as if you weren't starring as your own? What was your favourite memory from Once More with Feeling? You know, the same questions rattle through.
Yeah.
It's something that we've talked about on your site. It's something that I've talked about on mine and on my social media. That the audience questions sometimes can... It's just asking the same question in a different way, and that can be a bit boring.
And it's really hard I would imagine it's really hard as a moderator to hurry people along when the questions are rather tedious or repeated, and get to those good questions, because there are some really interesting nuggets out there, but they're, it's like panning for gold sometimes.
Very much so. Very much so. I got
yeah. Speaking of that, how was the Q&A for your panel? Was I was moderating for all four. Yeah.
I moderated for these, and then the next one was Jason David Frank. A bit more of a challenge for myself, because I will put my hand up. I not only have never seen a Power Rangers episode, I have no knowledge of the Power Rangers. I know that there are colours involved, and that's about it. So I'm not going to lie, I fudged a lot of the facts, but thankfully, the audience in the room for that panel, they weren't here for anything else. They were here for a guy that doesn't take that many trips here to the UK, Jason David Frank. and they lapped it up. Lots of questions, and the great thing about Jason David Frank is he will just keep talking. And the even better thing about it is it's nothing but positivity. The man didn't have a smile on his face. He didn't excuse me. He never not had a bad word to say. It was all about moving himself forward, moving the fandom forward, and for what I've been hearing about his own issues with other members of the Power Rangers cast over the course of the years, I didn't sense that at all. He just came across as a genuine guy. So that was a lot of fun. Sam J. Jones, who appeared as Flash in Flash Gordon in 1979.
So
now this was interesting because there wasn't that many people in the room, and I'm trying to work out if it was because it's the last panel of the day. It's 4:00. People are either making their own way home, they're leaving the convention or whatever. But when you're looking at panel attendance of around 25, 20 people, it's awkward. But still, he was a professional about it, a trooper, and told us plenty of stories about his time making Flash Gordon. So that was a lot of fun. Go on, Alyssa, you were about to say.
I was just going to, Super Cat Chick says, JDF is the best. He's been in Kansas City a couple of times and is so nice and just an amazing human being.
Yeah.
So she's definitely giving you the
thumbs up on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Super Cat Chick loved how Nicholas Brendon seemed to be on about his demons.
Yes. There were some moments in the panel on Saturday where I kind of thought that he was either bored with, because he actually did. He just halfway through the panel just went, you know what, I'm bored. I'm bored now. And I just thought, oh God, is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that we're not engaging him on? What's going on? As it happens, it was just more a case of he's hearing the same question, worded slightly different. And a lot of questions were about once more with feeling. And that seemed to be just a repetitive thing. And he was just kind of, he wasn't going to just plaster on a fake smile. So I think he's beyond that. A couple of interesting nuggets coming out of it in terms of the recent Entertainment Weekly reunion that took place. I think it was at the back end of October, November last year, which was the anniversary of Buffy, where Entertainment Weekly got all the cast together. There was a picture that was done between Joss Whedon and Nicholas Brendon, but Nicholas was not invited along to the big core photo op. And he turned around and said, this is something that I wasn't happy with when it happened. And the further I get away from it, the more upset and angry I am about it. He wasn't willing to just kind of say some corporate line to kind of smooth things over. He was just, no, they didn't invite me. I'm not happy about that. Turned around and said that he has a recurring dream that they are making season 8 and everybody's there and everyone's shooting, except he hasn't been invited. And he breaks onto the set. And that's the recurring dream he has. And you could see this kind of haunted look in his eye. And I thought, I actually kind of almost fell for him a little bit there, because I thought, I was trying to balance between the tabloid stories we've heard about him and the way that he's effectively been treated in the aftermath, not only of the shooting of the show, but what's happened since. So, yeah, that was awkward. But still, that's what you kind of get through. That's what you pay your money for.
Mark Serby asked me to ask you how his friend is from Derby.
Which one?
I'm Alyssa, can you ask Leonard how his friend from Derby is? We've also got a report that Andrew English was at Portsmouth Con.
Indeed.
And got quite a bit of sun too.
What was that, sorry?
And got quite a bit of sun, too.
Yes, I can imagine down there it was particularly warm. On the south coast, it can get, it can get toasty when the sun comes out. We'll quickly talk about that, because that's been one of the other big events that have been taking place this weekend. This is Portsmouth Comic-Con, which we had Joel Meadows on the Hangout about a month ago to talk about this show. It's the first time they've organised it. It was something that was organised by the Portsmouth Guildhall, and they approached Joel and Andrew from Tripwire magazine to put on this show, because Tripwire has been running as a comics and pop culture magazine now for over 25 years, starting out as a print magazine, which I remember seeing on shelves when I used to go to my comic book shop when I was a wee nipper. Has moved on to an online site now, so it's something that still has a presence, but they also have all that contact that they have, certainly with some old school artists and writers. Very connected with some of the sort of like London scene. So Kieran Gillen was in attendance. A whole bunch of people came. The thing about Portsmouth, because it is just like an hour and a half, 2 hours from London, it's close enough to actually fill the void of something like London Super Comic-Con, and indeed attract a similar guest list. Considering it was their first year, to have someone like Walt Simonson in attendance is a hell of a draw. That's a big name. They also had, like I say, some great other ancillaries from abroad and from the UK. Raphael Albuquerque, you had Gene Ha, you had Sean Phillips, you had some Dave Dorman. You had some great names there, and from all accounts and from what I've been seeing of the pictures, incredibly well run, incredibly well organised, and very, very impressive as a first event. I cannot imagine that this will not go ahead in 2019. And to be honest, for myself, I am looking forward to trying to get down to Portsmouth. It's a shame that it landed on the same weekend as EM-Con, but there we go. That's the way that the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. So there we go. Like I say, as we've said, Andrew English has been down. He's been taking lots of pictures, and hopefully we'll get that gallery up in the next couple of days. And we'll find, because like I say, I've been a bit busy here. So the only thing I've seen is a couple of the pictures that Portsmouth Guildhall and Portsmouth Comic-Con have put up themselves. Been a couple of good ones, and you get a general sense of the scale of it, which has been quite big, actually. It's been quite impressive. But I'd like to see some more pictures, so I'm looking forward to seeing that gallery myself. Cool. It's been good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's people are generally talking on the chat about EMMCON and what they missed. Cavi Warrior joined us. Dan Barry is joining us. Andrew English is with us, as is Sarita P. And of course, Super Cat Chick, who I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
That's gone. There's been a lot of other con news this week. I'm kind of curious how conventions are dealing with putting on shows the same day as Free Comic Book Day. Was there any nod to Free Comic Book Day at all?
No, certainly not at EMMCON. EMMCON is more of a pop culture event. It doesn't say that it's a comic convention. It's not a comic convention. There were a couple of retailers here that were selling comic books, but not many. It doesn't game for that market. That's not what it does. I'm very curious about Portsmouth Guildhall and Portsmouth Comic-Con, because Joel was telling us that there are a number of large retailers based in the southeast and based in Portsmouth itself. There was a comic book shop that was ready to bring a nice big series of tables and sell a lot of comics, and apparently they pulled out something like 3 weeks before, because they said, no, we're going to be doing Free Comic Book Day. We can't spare the staff, we can't spare the tables, we can't spare the stock. And I went, okay. And I think there was a couple of retailers that did the similar thing, that they just went, no, we're going to concentrate on our own thing. Which at the end of the day, that is the point of local comic book. It's Free Comic Book Day. That is to get you into your local comic book shop. dare I ask if you were able to get out and get some books of yourself?
I was not.
You see, I think we both missed out on this.
Well, we did. I'll use this as a segue into talking about why Catrina is not going to be here. Both me and Catrina are going through some major packing and moving issues. She was supposed to move into her new apartment yesterday. The lady who is there is taking an extra day, so she's sitting in a car trying to use the mobile app, not succeeding. Her cat is freaking out. She hasn't had any sleep, so she's in a state. I obviously yes,
the way that we have seen your room in the past is lots of frames on the wall. No, they're all being packed away.
They're all gone now. So so that was that's I am just constantly packing for so I was not able to get out to Free Comic Book Day at all. But I wanted to, since we're starting to move cons into the spring, the spring is as busy as the summertime is. It makes sense that conventions are going to try and suck up that air for Free Comic Book Day, which is kind of sad because it's the one weekend that the local comic book shops get to shine.
Correct.
So that was.
I'm just wondering with Catrina if she's still available, unless she's decided to bugger off.
She's.
I'm just wondering. Do you want to send her the Englishman login details and see if it's just her account and just going that way?
No, because I'm logged in as Englishman.
Well, I think so am I.
And I'll kick myself out, and then I'm hosting the show, and then what'll happen? Cats and dogs, crazy.
Okay, all right, okay.
All of that.
Just a suggestion. Anyway, okay. I mean,
they said.
Go on.
Andrew English is saying, let's see, I didn't see anything at Portsmouth Con. I have to think that that's about Free Comic Book Day. Mark Serby is saying Nottingham Forbidden Planet had a large line out the door.
I'll very quickly jump on that. As we were coming in, like I say, we arrived in Nottingham around 9:30, 20 to 10. And the route that we took coming into town to get to the arena, you looked down the street and you saw the Forbidden Planet store. It was rammed, man. The line was down the street, and it was so heartwarming to see people come out for Free Comic Book Day. It always is. I've seen a couple of pictures as well of the store that I usually go to, which is OK Comics in Leeds, as always. Lines down the street, and by all accounts, they had people camping out from the night before. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
It's that's new to me. I wouldn't have thought of it, but there you go. It's I think maybe that goes to the line culture that we're developing for conventions.
Yeah.
Speaking of lines, I'll use this as a segue. Gen Con today. What Gen Con does is they've got a bunch of panels that they bring out and that you have to sign up for. I don't know if there's a cost involved. I think there is. But today at noon, they went live with all of their different panels. And a lot of it, I'm hearing really good feedback from them. Apparently, it's kind of one of those things of, can I get into this panel? Can I get into that panel? Because that's the thing with Gen Con. I just wanted to hit on that they seem to have done their technology well. Unlike
well, that would be rather handy for a convention to do that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, hotels went smoothly. They seem to have gone somewhat smoothly. Badges went smoothly for San Diego. And yes, I think somebody said on the Q&A, was one of the Andrews, either English or Dickinson, said, yes, 10 weeks till San Diego.
Yes.
Just to, just crank that up.
Thank you so much indeed for that. The buzzing inside my head has now increased tenfold. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So after CCI, you know, and their vendors did so well with everything, and then we get parking. The one thing that we think is going to be like, oh, they've had this down for forever. They came last Monday, and there were reports that people weren't following it. There was a lot of reports that people not in group one were getting access to being able to buy it through a back door. There were reports that people were able to get on an entire hour early for it. So much so that people who came on logged in, legitimate group one people logged in a half an hour later, half an hour after it started, and they were not able to get underground parking, which of course created a kerfuffle.
I think it happened for yourself as well, didn't it?
It did. I was late. I had an appointment with a lawyer, and I could not get, you know, there real life stuff does happen, and people
Absolutely.
have other obligations. It does occur. So, you know, there's currently Ace Parking is saying that there is no problem. They have no evidence of people from group 2 and 3 being able to get in. No evidence that things were done early. They've asked for volunteers to show them timestamps or tickets that they've bought, to which everybody in the community is saying, if I bought at a half an hour early, I'm not going to stick my hand up and say, I bought a half an hour early, come throw my ticket out, you know? You know? So,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a bit, but everybody is in agreement that nothing's going to get done about it.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also been following a little bit in terms of the hotels. It's been interesting that there's been a couple of hotels that have just almost opened up randomly, as it were. The Westin opened up a couple of days ago. That was a bit of a random one, I think, this morning. So it's been late Pacific, early GMT, I believe. Coronado, the hotel where Some Like It Hot was filmed, that opened up randomly and with some spare rooms, and it's proving to be an interesting one. That there seems to be this kind of shuffling around that's happening when it comes to a couple of the hotel sales.
It doesn't surprise me that people are changing their mind and getting things sorted. I mean, that's, you know, traditionally people like to jockey for position. Sure. And that's okay. You know, a lot of what's happening. We also did get a bit of other news from San Diego that the DC booth is going to have a Hall of Justice 3D virtual experience in their booth.
Yeah.
Oh my. Can you imagine trying to get through that corridor?
That's going to be brutal. If it wasn't, I mean, admittedly, if it wasn't Marvel, then it would be DC. Did Marvel usually the ones that block up that center section?
Yes.
Now DC are throwing their hat into the ring for that. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Which makes the middle of the convention hall, the exhibition floor, an absolute nightmare. Yeah,
impassable. Just go around. Don't try and go through the center unless it's first thing in the morning. You know, and then
the thing is, I mean, have you noticed though that the camps have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and sooner at some point it's going to be battle royale. It's going to be a little bit like, you know, I mean, I know we do talk about the Marvel versus DC, but it's almost like an unwritten Cold War. Now we're actually going to it's going to be a little bit like Community with the paintball fights and pillow fights. It's gonna be the most friendly war, but it's gonna all take place on the convention floor. And I can imagine sort of like people sneaking around the Alice Ross booth to kind of like go in from the side. Anyway, it's gonna be a fun one. But no, that's gonna take up a lot of the floor space, and that's really gonna make moving around a nightmare.
I think I forget who's in the middle between the two of them. Oh, Boom Studios is between, which at
hang
least
on. Traditionally, let me think. You've got no Alex Ross is usually in the middle of the two. You've usually got Marvel. You've got Dark Horse. Yeah, Boom to the side. Yeah, it is usually Alex Ross bang in the centre, just to kind of like block things off a little bit. Wow.
Sir Lister of Snag is saying, getting my mosh pit ready for skit skills.
Yeah, we're talking like sharp elbows. You know,
yep, elbow, getting the elbows ready, you know, hair on fire, all that sort of stuff. You had to mention hotels because Mark Serby has chimed in with the what the bleep is going on with the Pendry again.
He's obsessed with that place, isn't he?
Well, no, a lot of people are. It was a waste of space.
Oh yeah, it was a waste of a slot that people were asking for. Yeah, that's going to run for a while. That particular element, that story is going to run for a while.
So, let's see, Gen Con. I just want to point out that Gen Con happens after San Diego Comic-Con, so people are signing up for these panels this far in advance.
Yeah,
for these board game panels.
Sure. Very quickly, I don't know if this is on the script, but I'll quickly get this out of the way and cover these. Because we have started getting our first San Diego Comic-Con exclusives being announced. So there's been a number of items that have finally come out. These are the previews exclusives that are sold. This has been by Diamond Comics Distributors is the people behind this. This is it's slightly interesting to work out where to actually put items that have been announced, because they are items that are going to be sold on the individual booths. So, for example, there is an exclusive that's been... there's a Pop Funko. That will more than likely be at the Funko booth, or another retailer is going to be selling that. You've also got some Image comics. You've got some DC comics. You've got some Marvel comics. But they are going to be previewed. You're going to be able to actually see them at the Diamond Comic Distributors booth. And then they will send you off to wherever to buy them. It's a very odd situation, but this is kind of like gives you a taste of the books that are coming. I think the most popular ones that people have been sharing from the ones I've put up, Sonic the Hedgehog foil cover. That's got a lot of legs to it. Look at the face on Alyssa. What? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. If you go to an Englishman in San Diego.com, all the exclusives are up there at the moment. But that's one company that's got. I'm certain.
Yeah, the one that got me this week was, and I don't know if it was just announced this week or if I'm that far behind, but the Hallmark ones.
No, PopMinded. Yeah, no, those were announced a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, all of those.
Rather pleasant. They're very pleasant.
Of those. I want all of them. I usually only want one or two. All of them, please.
I'm afraid to show Caroline because she's an itty bitty fan. No doubt she'll be interested in those.
It was the combination of the enamel pins and the I believe it was a Trek, Trek ornaments and the Iron Giant. Oh my God, I love the Iron Giant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
To be honest, the great thing about PopMinded, while they are not expensive, they are sort of they're a little. You could call them rather disposable items. They're small. You could put them in a corner of a bag and lose them. They really are kind of like these kind of almost disposable items. Yeah, they're like little. Yeah. But they're really high quality. They're really nice.
The Hallmark ones are amazing. Some of the tracks that I've gotten, the Starship, the Enterprise that I've gotten from them have just been fabulous.
Yeah.
As Serena P says,
unlike Entertainment Earth, which is usually tap. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, agreement. I don't even go there anymore. Sarita P says some of the Diamond distributor items are going to be on pre-order, and if I recall correctly, some of them are usually available afterwards too.
Yeah, I know that one is currently on pre-order, which is the Metroid Prime Voltron. Sorry, no, it's the Voltron Hyper something Voltron 5-piece set, and admittedly, it's all five. It's 5 lions that come together to form a Super Voltron. It's something like $120. It is $129. It's available for pre-order now. So do, if you are a Voltron fan, dive in. No word yet on the others. I've been told because they was split very much between comics exclusives and merchandise, with some rather nice toys. But I understand the Voltron one is available for pre-order now. $129.
Sir Lister of Smeg, I feel like I'm gonna poverty is going to happen right after San Diego.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He's talking about the Harley figure and the Dark Crystal comic. Is that Dark Crystal comic part of the Diamond? Yeah, absolutely. And the Inhuman Pops. Is Caroline over those, or are you not?
No, she will not be. No, that's not on her wheelhouse. No. Yeah.
Not at all. Okay.
No. Although she did find them rather cute. I mean, it's a teleporting. It's Lockjaw. So it's kind of like a semi-translucent one, which are always cute. And then you've got a glow in the dark Black Bolt. So it's a nice combo. I'm not going to lie, but it's not in her wheelhouse. So
yeah. Absolutely. We got a new watcher today, Owen. If I pronounced your name, I probably pronounced your name wrong. I apologize. Mason is saying Big Bad Toy Store has. That's
the ones. Yeah, that's the people who are doing the pre-order.
Has got the pre-order up for sale. Yeah. Thank you for that. We appreciate that, Owen. I mispronounced that again. I'm sorry. Did you hear anything about, do you know anything about this DC live action network that they're putting together?
Yes, this is the new streaming service, which
another streaming service?
Another streaming service. Admittedly, I think they announced 4 titles this week, and apparently it's going to be a major rollout at the summer conventions. I think isn't Titans one of them, and Harley Quinn is another.
It's Young Justice, The Outsiders is going to be an animated series for Harley Quinn. Swamp Thing is a live action thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to center on Abby, who meets the lover of her life, Alex, the eventual Swamp Thing character. Here's
the thing. I can imagine, as well as these 4 new titles, they're also going to put the movies, and they're also going to put the DC animated adventures. Okay, that content, certainly the animated adventures, has been one of the cornerstones of ComicCon HQ. That's something else. If that's pulled from that, that's another thing that they'll lose.
Oh my!
So all the Justice League Beyond, Batman Beyond, all the movies, Justice League Dark, which has appeared on ComicCon HQ. If that gets pulled to go onto this new streaming service, what's going to be left? What is going to be left?
Well,
I tell you what, it's going to be some tap films and a social media feed which just keeps rolling through like nothing's gone wrong. So weird.
It seems like it's pretty much on its way out.
What a lost opportunity.
Absolutely. but I have to say, I am really looking forward to live action shows. I would love to see the Swamp Thing.
Yes,
And,
I'm not going to lie. I'm excited about what this could mean. I'm a little concerned about what platform they're going to put it on. I'm concerned about pricing.
Totally.
Because at the end of the day, it's a very slim. I don't know what. I think I'd have to wait to see what else they're going to put on this service.
My problem is not so much that, yes, pricing is an issue. I'm not going to say it isn't, but I'm really not liking the general trend of getting away from watching television on a TV.
Okay.
And watching television on a screen, on a computer screen.
Well, I can imagine what they're going to do is they're going to sell this also out to, like, so you can use it on your Roku, on your Chromecast, on your Amazon Prime device, on your Apple TV. Sure, there will be a way of doing it, but
it's all kludgy. You've got to have this to get that. Okay. It's not like you can just. So that's my problem. That's the old school problems.
For myself, it's more a case of it's something that was actually discussed when Disney announced their live streaming service. Just it's the micro budgeting, the micro currency element of it all, that you're having to. It's not a case of you can sign up for something and get a catch-all like Netflix, for example, where you have a number of different things that you can see and do and whatever. Now it's a case of smaller little things that will end up. I mean, I know we talk about the cutting of the cord, but it's now a case of it's going to be as expensive as getting a premium satellite or cable service with all these individual little pieces of the puzzle of your viewing experience.
And it also seems like in a lot of the televisions, they have this dedicated app service to get to things. Now, if there's a gateway like a Hulu or Amazon or, a gateway service like the Fire TV and all of that, but it's just not easy anymore. It used to be easy, and it's not easy anymore to watch the shows because everybody wants their little piece of the pie. For UK folks, Andrew English is saying it's most likely going to be Netflix. Sarita P, I'm only going to get it for Young Justice.
You know what? This is the thing. I mean, the titles that they've announced, there's no overlap. If you're a Titans fan, you're not going to be wanting to watch Swamp Thing. If you're a Swamp Thing fan, you're probably not going to be into Young Justice. It seems odd. It seems weird. Yeah,
definitely odd and weird. But I just wanted to bring that to people's light that was coming down.
Sure.
And it was an interesting little development that's happened this past week.
Do you remember when at San Diego Comic-Con last year, there was a lot of the NBC All Access passes, those little cards that were going around like confetti, so you could have a free sign up for NBC All Access, and you couldn't walk down Bayfront or down the marina without these things littering the floor. Expect to see that with DC at San Diego this year. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh, they're turning the lights off on us. They really are.
Absolutely. Well, we're kind of winding down, and we're heading into the media thing. I do have one quick announcement about Gen Con. Apparently, generic tickets are now available for purchase in Gen Con. So if you didn't have the wish list, I'm not quite sure what that means, but people who follow Gen Con know. I'm ready for the week in TV, unless you've got anything else to bring up.
Not yet. I know that I did put a post up on my Facebook and on my social media, which is a little bit of an exciting development, but that's on my own personal kind of thing. and I can't reveal it just yet. I want to reveal it hopefully either tomorrow evening or by Tuesday. But all I can say
may
is,
I have a tease? Or do you want to tease?
I think the only tease that I can give is that if you are a convention attendee here in the UK, you know that a certain convention has been a little bit lackluster in terms of its support of comics. It's had an element, but it's not really kind of serviced it to the fullest of its ability. As it happens, that particular organizer is taking things up a notch. You will have a bit of a clue if you've seen a couple of recent episodes, because we have had some guests on which talked about it. And they're also going to be having panels for said event.
That's more than a tease.
There we go then. We'll leave it there.
My tease was going to be something that was very, very, very little and very just kind of more like you may want to watch this space towards the end of this.
Tell you what, okay.
Towards the end of this month.
Let's put it this way. Not only for myself, but for the event itself, you need to watch this space. Yes. There we go. We'll go with that. Okay. Right. Week in TV. I have got so much catching up to do. It's insane. It's
brutal, absolutely brutal. I will reiterate what I said last week. I've got a 6 terabyte TV and a 6 terabyte hard drive, and it is full. Andrew English, just to go back to what we were talking about with the CW and the DC people, is the CWC could lose their bits as well.
Very, very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they could be pulled from a lot of platforms, because I think Netflix here in the UK certainly has Gotham. It's got the first couple of seasons of The Flash. I don't know if it's got Arrow. That could all go. That could all just go.
It's crazy. It's
just getting more fractured.
Yeah, we're into a definite reorganization period of how network television is produced for us these days.
Which is why we're all just going to end up watching YouTube, because we all want to watch Cobra Kai, and it's just easier. There we go.
Absolutely. The AOS. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Angela Copley just mentioned this too. Has been bringing up Infinity War. And it was a lot of crossover with that.
It was a bit of an oblique reference, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool. There's also one other thing. Did anybody? Andrew Dickinson says, did anybody see the Mark Brendan review of Infinity Wars? Berandin.
Mark Brendon.
Yeah.
No. No.
Anyway, so apparently there's a review out there that's particularly good that Andrew suggests that we all catch up on.
That's the thing. It could be a really good review, or it could just be giving it a fresh kicking. Who knows?
Absolutely. I mean, nothing like, the confusing conclusion. Did you see the conclusion for The Walking Dead?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just a lot of people are kind of going, what?
What? All together now.
Yes. All together now. What? Exactly. Speaking of finales, there's a whole ton of them going down this week. Call the Midwife, Last Man on Earth, Atlanta. There's a series that I've got to watch. Daniel Glover. I mean, we won't even go off on where Solo is going at the end of this month.
You know what? Not even Solo, but This Is America, which is his video as Childish Gambino, which dropped today.
Yes.
Good God.
You've not seen it.
Good grief.
Oh, my God.
It's not the strongest song to listen to on its own, but as a audio-visual piece, good grief.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, yes, that guy is talented beyond belief. So no, Atlanta. They've started showing the new season here in the UK, which means they've been having the box sets been running. So I've been catching up on that, and it's a strong show. Strong show.
Okay, so I turned away from the chat, and Andrew English says Bernadin.
Oh no, yeah, right, no, it's Mark Bernadin. He's Bernadin. He's the writer for no. He's the writer for he writes for the Talkin blog, or used to. He used to do a monthly thing on how to write comics, how to properly tell a story. No, good guy. He's also a co-host with Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith. Yes. Now, Kevin Smith has been out and about doing his convention bits and pieces, and also kind of still recovering from his near-death experience. Mark did a 45-minute review of Infinity War, and he did it at the place where they usually do the Fat Man on Batman podcast. It was just him on his own in an empty bar in LA at like 3:00 in the afternoon. Just, nobody there at all. So it wasn't any of the usual Fat Man audience in there. He was very level-headed. Admittedly, he turned around and said that he'd been to see it twice. The first screening he went to was after the 30-odd hour marathon at the Los Angeles premiere. So he was slightly frazzled when he saw it first time round. Went to see it again a couple of days later when he had woken up a bit and brought himself round. Yeah, he admittedly, he took it apart, but he then put it back together again. You know what I mean? It wasn't an utter takedown, but he was very balanced about it, which I was. It's actually, he's right. Andrew's right. It's a very, very good review. I wouldn't go into it if you are one of these people that are absolutely glowing about Infinity War. I'm always of the opinion that if it's a strong enough concept, if it's a strong enough story, if it can take a knock and still stand up, then it deserves the knock. It deserves honest scrutiny. And no, Mark Bernadin has done a cracking job. Although, like I say, it was a solo review, and apparently they are going to be doing a joint review kind of chat about it on the next Fat Man on Batman, which is taking place next Friday, or this Friday coming up, sorry. But apparently, and I haven't seen it yet, this morning, Kevin Smith dropped a 1-hour review of Infinity War. I will be watching that tonight.
Oh, okay. So there's two interesting takes on reviews, which kind of brings up an interesting point that it's worthwhile kind of stepping back and giving yourself a little bit of time and not rushing for these reviews out there. Mark Serby, I'm sure can post to this too. But anyway, so going back to season finales, we talked about Atlanta with Dan Glover. And all that's going to be coming up. One point that I'm going to just jump back to a quick thing that we taught that I've got in the script. Star Wars Celebration. Speaking of Daniel Glover and Solo, Star Wars Celebration made an announcement this week that they are going to be in Anaheim.
They are indeed. Yep.
And
no date. No date yet.
It hasn't dropped yet. We were expecting it on the 4th because
yes,
May the 4th.
A lot of people are doing very similar things to what they do for the San Diego Comic-Con, which is going through the actual timetable for the convention center in Anaheim and trying to work out which weekend it is. But the thing is, Anaheim now hosts so many big events, it can actually hide itself a little bit better than it does at San Diego. Right.
But the thing that I was most interested in, not so much that it was going to be at Anaheim, but that ReedPop doesn't have their license with them anymore.
Yep. It wasn't. They weren't mentioned at all. No.
And there is talk that D23 is going to be running it. which brought back to mind your very descriptive
Yes.
discussion about what overnight was like at last year's D23.
Well,
I'm wondering if we're going to be...
Yeah, D23 last year was actually run by... It was a Repop event. It was run by... But it was done with the Disney staff. So it was kind of like... It's almost like the administration. The kind of the scaffolding of the event was done by Repop, and then Disney did the rest and made it their own. Oh, hello.
Andrew Dickinson is saying earplugs.
Oh, good God. Yes. Well, let's put it this way. If there's the opportunity to do D23 again next year, I don't think I would be doing that room, because that was hell on earth.
Yeah.
That really was a nightmare.
I just want to say, you know how Leonard was talking about Sam, Flash Gordon, to everybody else, how he's a genuine, like, he'll have it all the time for the fans. The girl that's been sitting with him all weekend, he's just given her a Alex Ross print that is signed by himself and Alex Ross for free. Just gave it to her as a thank you.
Okay, there you go.
That's insane. That's just blown me away.
Blown your mind. So there you go. If you're going to take anything away from this podcast, Sam J. Jones, he will save every one of us.
It's
so
wonderful.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, but to wrap the whole thing up with Star Wars Celebration, I'm more interested in the date because, like you say, Repop weren't mentioned in this release that came out this week, which is interesting. You'd think that if they were administrating this year, I mean, if it's a case of Disney feeling that they can do it themselves, I'm certain that they can. It's not like they haven't organized big things before. Fine, they can do it, and they can put it together. The thing is, it's then just how nasty they can be, frankly, in terms of their timetable. And not only that, but the thing about D23 as well, because it would be D23 running it, and they're in Anaheim, they can effectively dictate where they want to be and where they want to be placed, because they have that power. They have, with the local authorities. We had this discussion with how much influence Disney has in that town.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
they could be particularly nasty. And I'm hoping they're not. I really am hoping they're not.
It will be interesting to see. I'm hoping that it will be that I'll be able to attend. Maybe just go up for a day or get a hotel room outside of it. I'm not going
to lie. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I would like to do it.
I'll tell you what I did. I mean, just to go back to when we talked about D23 before, the only thing I will say, it's a forced smile with a hard edge. We're having fun. We're wearing the Disney ears, and we're having fun. And there's some real. It's like you can see the Mickey Mouse hand, and there's some real steel under there. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I mean, all of the, somebody said, I saw something that it was just like all of the franchises that Disney owns now is just a Marvel, Star Wars.
Oh,
it's
right.
Scary.
It's when we walked into the building because they obviously had all the banners up for D23. We walked into the building, and it basically had filling up in between the pillars these huge banners for Pixar, Disney, live action Disney animation, Marvel. So you had Marvel in the mid, and it really was a case of an event organizer, not to be too crude about things, whipping out its very large member and just going, funk. I was like, look at the size of.
Can we not
it was
go
like,
there?
Okay, it was just it really was just. It was a case of just look at all the money we've got. Look, we have your childhood with a very tight grip in our hands, and it's like, oh my god, it really was a lot.
Does anybody remember when I'm speaking of Disney being all? When is Disney Park opening up? Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
And they haven't released any dates for it yet. They haven't released any tickets.
Okay.
Because obviously people are paying very close attention to that. Not necessarily for anything else, but for Star Wars Land. That's all. That's what everyone's excited for. Yeah, could be soon.
Cavi Warrior is saying Disney is one more successful franchise away from world domination.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Particularly appropriate.
You know what? If they bought Star Trek, game over. That's it. Just give up.
Andrew English, and I got this right. Andrew English, one company to rule them all. Yep, that's a good one. Yeah. That works.
True. They are indeed the Black Tower. Oh my word.
Super Cat Chick. So if Amazon buys Disney, they will basically own the earth, right?
You know what? It could even be. I
don't know who would buy who. Disney buys
who?
Amazon, or Amazon buys Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney. Diz.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I know that just how much. Oh, it's just so much money. I mean, let's talk about Infinity War for a second. We're talking a film that's made $1 billion in 11 days. 10 days.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
All the money. All the money. Anyway, okay, right.
Okay, so trying to finish up next week in television.
Go for it.
In addition to Atlanta, where we got started with Daniel Gubler, Star Wars, not Trek, bling to bling to bling. Back to Lethal Weapon ends up, as does Bull, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Blue Bloods, Final Space, Young Sheldon, and of course the Big Bang Theory's wedding episode with Sheldon getting married.
All together now.
Yeah, exactly. But that's it. If you follow any of those shows, it is a big week. There's only really one new show that really caught our attention on the radar. Netflix has a new show called Safe. It stars Michael C. Hall from Dexter. And he portrays a surgeon in an affluent neighborhood who unearths dark secrets about the people closest to him.
Okay.
So, I mean, that could be interesting if, your DVR isn't crammed. And yes, I still have to watch Legion and so it's doubtful that'll hit many people, many of the geek people. But
when does that land?
That lands next Friday.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Friday. Okay. Let's see. Just going over. Am I the only, Super Cat Chick says, am I the only one sad that Tremors TV show?
No, you're not. Kevin Bacon is also utterly gutted.
Yes.
That it's gone. Because he was really up for it.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman Dan Barry says Neil Gaiman is going to appear on the Big Bang Theory, appeared on the Big Bang Theory a couple of weeks ago. That's interesting.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. Really? Yeah. He lowered himself to appear on Big Bang Theory. Really? Neil, what are you doing?
Yeah, Andrew English is like, I haven't seen the past 2 seasons. I haven't watched Big Bang Theory. I tried to get into it, as a friend of mine was, but yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for that. But the biggest news this week is probably going to come from upfronts that are starting. Major networks for renewals, cancellations, new shows, that sort of stuff. That's going to be where the big news is. In addition to the Walking Dead, what were they thinking with that finale?
Okay. I think I'm also really excited about any future news coming up about Castle Rock, which is the new Stephen King anthology type series. Or it's not actually an anthology, it's all the kind of like little threads of sort of like Stephen King short stories and sort of like backstories to his little worlds set in Castle Rock. all coming together, and apparently it's mental. So no, I'm up for that. But there we go. Right, so
I'm just behind you. Everybody is cleared out except for that one vendor. What is up with that one vendor in the middle of the floor?
Pop Funkos, shelves of them, and they just had
Okay. Just because, when everybody else has left and you're still in the middle of the stage tearing down, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Tell me about it. And then you've got, if I just move the camera around. Okay,
and Andrew Dickinson says, Castle Rock, written by Mark. You've got me again, Bernadin.
Is it? Oh, is he right? Is he writing that? Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
No,
and
okay.
Apparently, I said it well enough, so let her know who I was talking about.
No,
Yay.
listen. The man can tell a story. I'm down with that. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Good. So, just to tease again, Leonard's big news of the episode is stay tuned. Hopefully, we're going to be doing something a little bit different at the end of this month and have kind of a really new experience for everybody. That's what we're hoping for.
Yep.
We'll see if it pans out. We don't know if the technology is going to work. We don't know if the if the money's going to work, how it's all going to happen, but we're trying to bring you new and innovative stuff. So take it away, Leonard.
Oh God, no, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Like I say, I should be able to reveal more in the next couple of days, but it should be fun. But there we go. That's been our show. A little bit of a truncated one because we would have liked to have gotten Catrina again. You know what? I'm incredibly tempted to just do an incidental episode and just catch her when I can. And instead of trying to force her into the Sunday show, I don't know. We'll work it out. But anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching us today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed whatever cons you've been going to. I hope you've enjoyed your television that you've been watching. And basically just enjoyed all your fandoms. For yourself, Alyssa, where can people find you online?
People can always find me at my Twitter, which I don't monitor very well. So maybe the best place to find me is on my website, which is friendsofcc.com, both the forum and the blog. I'm always on the forum, and you can just send me a DM there. But my Twitter handle is friendsofcci.
Excellent. And for myself, you can find me on the social medias at Englishman SCCC. You can tell it's now starting to getting the mechanicals out now, so it's getting a little bit louder here.
Yeah.
But Englishman SCCC on the social medias, and of course keep up to date with all the bits and pieces when it comes to all the announcements on an EnglishmanInSanDiego.com. Do head to that site certainly in the next couple of days, because I am going to be sorting out the announcement pages and the bits and pieces for Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con 2018. So we're getting all the guest announcement pages sorted out, the exclusive pages sorted out. I think I've got my exclusives directory up and running. I think I've got a couple to add to it. So that's pretty much all ready to go. I think I just need to get it's like schedules and stuff and getting the templates up and ready for that. But everything's started. Yeah, it's all starting to come together.
Sounds like you have plenty of time to come over and help me pack.
Yeah, I've got no time to scratch my own bum is what I've got as well. So yeah, I think we're both getting there. Like you say, 10 weeks and counting. 10 weeks and counting.
10 weeks.
Right then, guys. Okay. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, we've got some last minute comments.
I just wanted to say goodbye to Andrew English. See you next week. Super Cat Chick, Sarita P, Sir Lister of Smag, Cavi Warrior, Andrew Dickinson. Thank you all for watching. And if I missed somebody, please, Dan Barry, I remember, and there's other people.
Yeah,
thank you all very much for watching.
You need to complain to Friends of CCI on Twitter.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah,
thank you so much.
And then share that complaint with everybody you know, who will then complain.
Right. I know where you sleep in July.
She's going to lay spiders in my ear. She's going to lay spiders in my ear. Okay. Take care. I'm now going to go off and get horrendously drunk. So I will catch you later.
Drive home.
That'll be tomorrow morning.
Oh, brilliant. So you're driving home when you're hungover. Nice.
Well, what else is new? Okay. Take care, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye, guys.
Do join us next week for another Talkin Comic-Con Cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
bye.